Sairam. Next talk. जुग सहस्र जोजन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु. You thought that the sun, thousands of miles away, was a sweet fruit, and you swallowed sun. जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु. A jug or yug or a jug is a sum of 4 yugas, one complete Mahayuga, where Satyug is 4,800 divine years, Treta Yuga is 3,600 divine years, Dwapar Yuga is 2,400 divine years, Kali Yuga is 1,200 divine years. So, one jug is equal to 4,800 plus 3,600 plus 2,400 plus 1,200 is equal to 12,000 years. One jug is 12,000 years. One sahasra is equal to 1,000. One yojan or yojan is 8 miles. So, jug sahasra yojan or jug into sahasra into yojan is equal to 12,000 into 1,000 into 8 miles is equal to 960 lakh miles. 1 mile is equal to 1.6 kilometers, as we all know. So, 960 lakh miles into 1.6 kilometers is equal to 15,360 lakh kilometers. And most interestingly, amazingly, NASA has confirmed that this 15,360 lakh kilometers is the exact distance between Earth and Sun, Bhanu, which proves Hanumanji did jump to Sun, thinking it as a sweet fruit. Madhur phal janu. It is interesting how accurate and meaningful our ancient scriptures are. This episode takes place when Hanumanji was just a baby. Seeing the rising sun, Hanuman takes it to be a ripe fruit, waiting to be eaten. In one mighty leap, Hanuman flies up and swallows the sun. As we have already learnt in a previous verse, Indra strikes with his powerful Vajra. And Hanumanji falls unconscious. हाथ वज्र और Dvaja Diraje. Remember? There also this was shared that Pavanadeva, son father of Hanuman, is angered to see his son in that state, and he withdraws his prana from the universe. There was no air, and all life faced imminent death in the universe. It's only when the gods intervened and propitiated Pavanadev and offered many boons to his son did Pavandev agree to give prana to the universe. This incident reflects at a very subtler level the very problem of human existence. The jiva, bound soul, acts out of ignorance, driven by desire, and acts to enjoy pleasures of the senses. Just as Hanumanji had a misconception of the sun, the jiva too has the wrong notion of the world. Hanuman's powers were infinite and immeasurable. Similarly, jiva too has infinite powers and capacities which are hidden deep within the jiva. And whatever powers jiva does have are all directed to the wrong deeds, namely sensual pleasures that are transient. The jiva takes the objects in the world to be real and the source of all his joys. In fact, an object can never be a source of joy because all objects are perishable, and the joy is not in the object even at the worldly level, but it is all only the mind's play. The sense objects enslave the jiva and become the source of endless pains and sorrows, and bind the jiva more and more to the endless cycle of births and deaths. In his struggle and search, the jiva ruins himself. Like Hanuman leapt to eat the sun, taking it to be a fruit, you have all been shared the story of the two birds from Mundaka Upanishad, where one of the two birds, the lower bird, that is the jiva, desires the fruits. That means the fruits of desire-filled action, and consumes the fruits, flying from one tree to another, and eats the fruits. Here, eating is fetching new karmas. This essence is not to undermine the intention of strength of Hanumanji, but these are all subtler lessons which we need to absorb. Next, प्रभु मुद्रिका में ली मुख माही, जलधि लांधि गए अचरज नाही. Keeping the ring in your mouth, which was given to you by Lord Rama, you crossed over the ocean so easily with no astonishment, acharaj nahi, whatsoever. All difficult tasks of this world become easy with thy grace. Monkeys have cheek pouches that extend down both sides of the neck and are used for storing food. Hanuman placed Lord Rama's ring in his cheek pouch. The act of leaping across the ocean is such a marvelous feat. He flew over the ocean like a bright streak of lightning. Mandodari, Ravana's wife, herself reminds Ravana of this astonishing feat, saying that the fearless lion among the Vanaras came to your Lanka after leaping across the ocean as if it were a child's play. Goswami Tulasidas ji says, there is no wonder in this because Hanumanji placed the ring on which was written the name of Rama in his mouth, and taking the name of the Lord, he crossed the ocean despite the temptations and difficulties that came before him in the form of Mainaka, who offered him rest, Surasa, who wanted to swallow him, Simhika, who also tried to drag him into her mouth, Lankini, who tried to prevent his entry into the fortress, and of course all other powerful demons who resisted his entry to Lanka. Hanumanji overcomes all these obstacles and reaches the goal, Mother Sita. This was possible because of Hanumanji's total surrender to the Lord, and which resulted in the grace of the Lord. Goswami Tulasidas ji's hint to all human beings is that like Hanuman, we need to get subtler and deeper and awaken our inner strength. As the story goes, Hanumanji was not aware of his strength due to a curse from someone, and he was not aware that he is capable of crossing the ocean to reach Lanka. The entire Sena of Sugriva are seated in despair on knowing that Ravana had taken Sita Mata by crossing this mighty ocean, and are thinking, who can take up this most daunting task of crossing this ocean? Jamwant starts talking to Hanuman and says, hey Hanuman, you have the strength to take up this task. On hearing this, Hanuman says, "Oh, do you say that I have the strength? Then why should I delay in working in my Lord Rama's mission? Let me start right now." Saying this, Hanuman starts and reaches Lanka in one go. Hanuman believed in the one who said about his strength, Jamban. We human beings hear a lot, but we do not have faith in the sages who teach us scriptures. The texts, Shrutis and saints try to explain the dormant energy lying in us only to awaken it. We feel that there are many oceans, rivers, mountains, snakes, etc. That means so many obstacles in this path of sadhana. There is a fear of drowning in the ocean of samsara. Some drown in love, some drown in the ocean of wealth, some in the ocean of power, and some in the ocean of fame, and so on and so forth. Human beings in general do not have the power to overcome all these obstacles. So, saints like Tulsidas ji try to make us understand that we are essentially divine. Our powers, spiritual powers, should be awakened, and if we do any work with full faith in God, then we will reach beyond this samsara ocean, samsara sagara. There is no doubt in this. Just as Hanumanji reached Lanka by crossing the ocean, by believing in the words of Jamban, in the same way, we should also try to follow the path shown by God in the instruction of saints, in the instructions of scriptures like Upanishad, like Bhagavad Gita, etc., and the instructions of our Guru, if we are fortunate to get one in our lifetime. Like Jamvat, when a Guru walks into our life and teaches us that we are verily divine, and teach us the Mahavakyas which say Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art. Then, like Hanuman, we have to believe in such teachings, the truth about our real identity, and like Hanuman took a leap without any doubt, we must also develop the conviction mamakshatva instantly and take up the path of sadhana to realize what God or scriptures or Guru teach us. What do they teach? Ekam Sat. We are divine. 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 We are divine Moksha Gita Guru Uvacha. Ma Beshir Vatsa Te Nasti Tattvato Maranam Dhruvam Upayaschasti Sansara Sagara Uddharana Dano Tatha Uddharano Tatha. The Guru says, fear not, my child. In reality, there is no death for you. There is a mean for crossing this ocean of relative existence and attaining immortality or the supreme bliss. Amritatvasya samprapto paramananda bhojane atastvam upadeshyam brahma vidya mimam shrunu. I shall teach thee now Brahma Vidya, hear with rapt attention. Writing the commentary on this Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj's Moksha Gita verse, his disciple Krishnanandaji says, the words of the preceptor enter like arrows piercing the illusion of the aspirant's mind. His instructions dispel ignorance and tear upon the veils that envelop the central being or the essential nature of the self. The ring that Hanuman held in his mouth with Ram Nam written in it signifies the real gem teachings of the Mahavakya of the Upanishads on our real identity, which, when truly believed, gives us strength to cross the ocean of samsara. What Guru says, there is a means for crossing this ocean of relative existence. In Moksha Gita also, it is about crossing this ocean of relative existence, samsara. Most important, do not ever think that you and God, Swami speaks. This is quote from Swami speaks on self-confidence. Most important, do not ever think that you and God are separate. Think always, God is with me. He is inside me. He is around me. All there is God. I myself am God. I am the infinite, the eternal. I am not the two. I am one, only one. There is no one else besides me. I and God are one and the same. To realize this unity, the first step is to develop self-confidence, like Hanuman developed on hearing what Jampman told about his strength. It comes when you realize that God is not outside you. Swami's quote. Mother Sita represents bhakti or devotion. To find or gain devotion or liberation, one has to cross this ocean of the feeling. The ocean of samsara is not outside us. The ocean of the feeling that I am this body. Dehatma bhava. This is difficult as crossing a mighty ocean. But by chanting Lord's name, we will understand by chanting Lord's name, by engaging in intense spiritual sadhana, we will come to understand that we are not this body. And in this way, we cross this ocean of samsara, which is nothing but avidya, our avidya, smita. There is no doubt, अचरज नहीं, that one can accomplish anything by chanting the Lord's name, believing in scriptures, taking up sadhana, and acting with full faith and devotion or dhyana. The most difficult tasks in this world can become very easy to accomplish by God's grace. We may have various components or factors that contribute to the success: physical strength, knowledge, expertise, material resources, inspiration, etc. But it often happens, or at least sometimes happens, that despite having all these requirements, the work at hand seems impossible to complete. On the other hand, there are times when a person has little or no resource with which to attend to a task or face a situation, yet that person attains success when he takes refuge in God, in Hanuman, in God, and obtains God's grace. Then, no matter how difficult the task and no matter how impossible the situation, all will seem easy as it was for Hanuman to leap across the ocean. All that is required is our faith in God, which gives us the conviction to take up sadhana to reach God and merge with God. Jai Shri Hanuman, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Sai Ram.